to Keep Your Torch Lit podcast. I'm Sam.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Sarah.
So this is the new official podcast that we're going to be covering Survivor Michigan. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to tell some jokes, you know. I think it's fun thing to try out.
Have some better info. No spoilers.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
Yeah. New podcast coming your way because it's right now, January 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And there's absolutely zero smog over New York City. It's really breathable.
Wow. We're in the middle of the Trump presidency.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Good thing this is the last time he'll ever run for president. You know, 2020, and that's it. Never again.
Yeah. I think we've all been inhaling too much smoke and damaged our brains. This is actually, we've been doing this podcast for like 5 years, guys.
Has it actually been 5? Oh my God. It has.
I think so.
Yeah.
Or maybe
2018, yeah.
I think 2018.
Wow. Look at us.
Or
We're
was
all
it
washed up.
2019.
Yeah, so it was 2019 is when season 1 started premiering.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when you were.
Well, because season 2 came out in 2019 too.
Yeah.
We cranked out 2 in that season or in that year. Wow.
See, we don't know what we're talking about. Our brains are all damaged. We have short-term memory loss.
We're all getting old, you know, like our brains are turning to mush.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but also at the same time, like, what is it? Like, once you hit 25, your brain's fully formed. So maybe on the opposite side, we're actually like way smarter than we were.
Yeah, I believe that. Watching back on the season Survivor Michigan, I definitely agree that we're smarter now than we were then.
Yeah, maybe in some ways. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking, like, earlier today how season 2 is in 2018, All Stars is in 2019. Like, at the time it was like wow, it's so crazy, like I'm gonna be on YouTube, whatever, we're all gonna be on YouTube. Now it's like, wow, it's crazy, like this college version of myself from like 5 years ago is like on YouTube. It's like I keep getting older, time passes, but like it's always like that time period is like frozen. Like it's always 2019 or it's always 2018, you know. So it's just like funny.
Yeah, it's crazy because it seemed like there was such a long time between like playing season 2 and then you playing All Stars, you know. And now that's like that period of time has gone by like 3 times now, or I don't know. How that works,
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's like weird and existential when I start to think that way. Time flies, and so does Keep Your Torch Lit, right? It's 5 seasons. We're now on the last podcast covering season 5. Insanity.
The end of Era 1.
End of Era 1.
Yeah, if you guys haven't subscribed to the Gen 2 YouTube channel yet, you should go do that. How many subs do they have now? Let me see.
I don't know. Probably more than Keep Your Torch Lit podcast. But also,
they already have 401.
Wow.
Good for them.
How many do we have?
I guess them. I don't know.
But
like the Gen 1 has 3.12K.
This channel is not going to split and have a Gen 2 Keep Your Torch Lit channel.
No.
We're going to be the same channel. All of them will be in the same place. Pretty great.
But will there be new KYTLers? Possibly. We don't know.
Will we be ever seen again? Is this like the last time we'll ever speak on Survivor Michigan for the rest of history? Is
this time capsule of us now going to be going on for 10 years or, you know, same thing? You know, like how there's a time capsule of us in college. Now there's the time capsule of us talking about our time in college when we're 25. Now this is kind
of weird to think about. Yeah, you're right. Because there will be a time where like this is like, oh wow, look back in 2023.
That's so weird.
Whatever.
Yeah, when we're all like in our retirement homes.
Yeah.
Like showing our grandchildren.
Yeah. Going to Survivor Michigan reunions for like season 120.
We'll be wearing those new Apple goggles, watching videos of Survivor Michigan, and like just over and over, like in Black Mirror, like reliving, like like Jack finds the idol, like Jack finds the idol.
No, I'll be able to be like, hey, ChatGPT, generate a version of Survivor Michigan where I don't waste my idols. And it's just all the same thing. And then
that's the one you show everyone. That's the one you show all your grandchildren.
Yeah.
You're like, this is what happened.
And a single tear rolls down my face.
You'll be like, no, the channel you see on YouTube is just a deep fake. It's not real.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, there's just going to be more, like, I don't know why it would ever end. You know what I mean? Like, why would Survivor Michigan ever end?
Yeah, I don't think it would. I mean,
because there's always going to be fans, and
I could see it being like so many seasons. Like seasons keep getting filmed, but they can't edit them at the same rate that they're filmed. So I could see it being like one day seasons are released out of order or something. But in some seasons maybe never get released. I could see that happening, but
yeah,
I don't see it ending.
Like I know Maryland has like slowed down a lot. No shade towards Maryland, but especially with like, I mean, like after Austin's seasons, I feel like now that it's getting a little slower. And like I'm wondering, like, I mean, I think we have a great team for season 6 and for Gen 2, but like you never know how, I don't know, as the torches keep getting passed.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
what? You're right.
10 years from now, like, are they going to be, when they're filming like season like 40, like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if like, season 23 came out before season 15, like big controversy.
Oh yeah, it is just going to be the thing. It's going to be the production part that's going to cause it to die, but the filming part is
I don't see it. I don't see that dying off.
Exactly. It's more so like it coming out. It'll just get like slower and slower.
Gotta keep the torches lit, you know. We gotta develop some AI make Survivor Michigan seasons, then they'll come out.
Well, imagine AI to freaking edit, or at least cut out like, I don't know. Actually, that would be pretty hard to make, but
I don't know. There's definitely limitations with how creative I think that they.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if they could just like put the structure and everything, and then like someone can add the flair and the funny stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would do that, but Jack, you can code it.
I think that sounds pretty hard still. I don't know.
Well, there's technology that can transcribe video. So if you're able to transcribe video and then like, let's say you model a software or like an AI to say like, give me every clip of this person saying of people that are talking about Jack.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
It could find you like, oh, here's maybe 10 clips you could possibly use. Then you pick one. Or like, oh, give me clips about everybody not liking so-and-so. And then like, you know, if the AI is smart enough, it can like kind of like make assumptions and like be like, oh, this is probably this person. This probably will like work. But I don't know. I feel like it's a long way off.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that like ChatGPT is like good at, is like finding things that match certain things, you know, like not like creating something new. I feel like, and like creatively, it still kind of sucks. Yeah,
but
I don't
know. Anyways, we're getting into a bit of a rabbit hole. But...
Yeah, what's the point of this podcast? I feel we haven't even said what we're doing in this podcast. We've just kind of been rambling. We've just been kind of reminiscing, being nostalgic. What are we doing here?
So basically, as if you've been an avid listener to Keep Your Torch Lit over the years and over the season, or even over this season, you know that we do like a eulogy for each player that's voted off, and we place them in the rankings, in the pantheon of everyone that has the same placement as them. So, for example, the last one we did was for Megan. She got 8th place, and we ranked her against the other 8th place people from seasons 1 through 5. So we haven't done that for the final 7 to the end of All Stars. And so
oh my God,
that's really the main thing to do here, is just kind of like put a cap on All Stars and on Era 1 in general. And then let's like get the rankings completed for the final 7. So,
and also just wanted to shout out our last episode with Ian, which randomly has like 3.1K views. for some reason on YouTube.
Popping off.
Popping off.
I guess Ian's popular.
Yeah. And I guess we're not, because this isn't just Sam and Ian.
I'm on it for a little bit of like off camera. So clearly they don't want to see my face and they don't want to hear you, Jack. So
yeah. They don't want to see or
that's
hear
what
me.
we've concluded from this.
That should be the clickbait for this video. Like, Jack gets fired from Keep Your Torch Lit, bringing down the views.
Yeah.
Oh.
I bet they all were like clicked on it, like being like, "Oh, Jack's definitely going to be in this one," and then when he wasn't, they're like, "It's a controversy," you know.
They just keep refreshing it, hoping that it'll appear. If they keep refreshing it, that's why there's so many views.
Yeah. And like sending it to other people, like, "Hey, like, can you watch this to make sure that I didn't miss Jack?" Maybe he was like for a second.
Yeah. Feeding it to like different AIs, so it's like, find Jack in this video, please.
Yeah, ChatGPT watches it like 1,000 times.
Yeah. There, Jack not found anywhere. No mention of Jack in this video. He's completely irrelevant. No.
It confirms.
Yeah.
So this podcast, there's some rankings. I mean, we usually do recaps, but I feel like we kind of talk about like we probably don't need to do like recap all of episodes 13 through 15. Like it's already been talked about like about infinity times at this point. But you know, I mean, any overall thoughts from the whatever I guess final 7 to the end that you guys want to get out there that you haven't already talked about?
I think the winner was a little bit disappointing, but other than that, there were a good couple episodes.
You know, kind of a bad ending, but you know, the rest of it was all right.
Yeah,
basically.
I thought those were some crazy votes. Like you have a 2-2, what was it? 2-2-2-1 and a 3-2-1. Like
first ever 2-2-2-1, right? Has there been any other examples of that in like other college or anything?
It's the first time it's happened.
Not even like South Africa or like French Survivor or like.
I mean, not that I know of. You could ask ChatGPT; they would probably not really answer that.
Wait, should we ask? Does it know that kind of stuff? I've never used ChatGPT, guys.
I'll ask ChatGPT if a 2-2-2-1 post has ever happened and see what it says.
I think it knows something about Survivor Michigan. I've like asked it about Survivor Michigan before.
Do the kids these days like use this to do their homework? Because I didn't have we didn't have this. We had to actually think.
It
Do
says,
I need an account?
It says, all right, as my knowledge cut off in September 2021, a 2-2-2-1 vote split has not occurred in Survivor.
What? Is that true?
New seasons may have been released since then. It's just a good idea to check. And you know what, ChatGPT, you're right. If the new season released since then, Power Michigan All-Stars, it did happen. So maybe the next version of ChatGPT will know. They do. I'm pretty sure it knows what Survivor Michigan is. But it said something like, it thought that like Cooper won season 1 or like something.
Cooper went in and changed it.
It was like right in that it knew what it was and it knew like some of the people's names, but then it was just like wrong about like very basic facts.
It said that Cooper won. That's too funny.
Yeah. Or like one of them I thought. I don't even know.
Trying to ask it about Survivor Michigan stuff. If you hear me clicking and clacking.
Clickety clacks. What kind of keyboard do you have? Is it one of those real clickety clack ones?
Yeah,
like
it's like clickety clack. Trying to ask it if it knows who Sam Morris.
Probably not.
No.
Very sad.
As of my last knowledge update in September 21, there's been no official first season of Survivor Michigan. What? Yes, there has been.
Bro.
You don't know enough. I swear I asked about Survivor Michigan before.
Thought I have.
How dare you? we okay.
Stupid AIs. So final 7. Crazy vote split. We have like 4 separate plans. Never happened before. And then we see, very sadly, AJ goes home. I have to decide between voting off Leia, voting off AJ. Obviously, I chose to keep Leia. Might have looked at the time like it could have could have gone either way. It could have been a bad move. It kind of ends up being the right move, I think. But yeah, really brutal. I mean, like obviously, didn't want to do that. And also AJ would have survived had they put their vote on Leia, but wouldn't do it. So any I guess we gotta eulogize AJ here.
Yes. AJ was honestly one of my favorite people to watch this game. I've been saying it. I think the confessionals were hilarious. I think they tried really hard on all the challenges, especially like the scavenger hunt one. Literally went all out. Yeah. Like appreciate the dedication to the art.
And like I'm surprised that the fans didn't like AJ as much. Like
yeah, what the heck? I was genuinely surprised by that.
Yeah, that might be like my biggest shock about the fan reaction, because like
same.
You know, I can see some of the other people being polarizing that people didn't like. Like, sure, Leia has a strong personality, and you know, I can see why she had some haters, even though I love her. But AJ, I thought would just be like a huge like Kelly Wentworth type, like, you know, didn't have a big first season, then came on strong in the second. Well, because I think they did, but I'm talking more in terms of like fan reaction. So I feel like they were really fun to watch. Like yeah, super just dedicated. Like, yeah, the merge vote being just like completely their doing of like that whole flip situation with Bailey. I don't know. It's like they definitely left probably the biggest mark on the season of like any of the people who weren't like the big names going into it. I feel like.
Yeah. I felt like with AJ, it's like you got to see kind of like the Survivor bucket list, like blind sides, like finding an idol, playing an idol, making a big move, like shaving your head, getting a tattoo, winning an immunity, like, and going into the end game and like having like a big presence into the end game. Like I feel like AJ had like the very full Survivor experience, which I'm really glad that they got to have that, because season 4 was cut very short. So I mean, even just speaking as an objective viewer, I think that was cool. As someone who is like aligned very closely in the game, very good alliance member, I thought that AJ would have had a good chance to win if they got to the end, just because of the overall story. And I mean, it's unfortunate that like it sucks to go home and like know that like, oh, I would not have gone home if I had just made this one little decision differently. Like, oh, if I had like just not played my idol the week before, or if I had only not like wrote down Mike's name and crossed it out, or if I only wrote down Leia's name instead of Bailey's name, you know, Leia would have went home, AJ would have been fine. So it sucks that it ended up being like something as small as that, and then also like having their life in my hands and me having to choose. Like it sucks because AJ like saved my life earlier in the game, and I didn't do the same. But I don't know. I feel like for like honestly though, there's like not much more you can ask out of like a season of All Stars. Like AJ really had the full experience, so glad they got to have that. I think that I think that also like they'll be one of the most remembered people from the season as time goes on. I think that'll age pretty well.
Also, the fact that they weren't in like the huge friend, like quote unquote friend group before, and still was able to like make a strong connection with you, Sam, and like a lot of people, I think says a lot about his social game. So
definitely I think like the season 4 player that had the best chance of winning, you know, if they got to the end.
Definitely. Big underdog. Love the underdogs. Espresso boy. Espresso.
X.
No X.
God.
So
rank?
7? Yeah, the ranking.
So, we're at the point now. All of these are going to be super tough. I feel like we could breeze by a bunch in earlier weeks, you know, in the teens and stuff. But woo! These are some big hitters. Sorry, that was kind of loud in my microphone.
Wait, who's in it?
So we got in last place, Austin, then Ivy. In second place, the queen herself, Maggie. And in first place, Coop.
Oh,
Coop.
this is a bunch.
Yeah.
Wait, is this like in one of our sheets?
Yeah. And I think Sam made a Google Doc too.
Okay.
Yeah, just says final podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess starting at the bottom, AJ versus Austin.
Wait, I'm trying to find my sheet.
I feel like they both had loyalty as like a big part of the game. Well, I don't know. Austin played a different type of game than AJ.
Mm-hmm.
I think that AJ was making more out front moves.
Mm-hmm.
Personally,
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Austin was a very loyal player. AJ was, I guess, not. I think AJ branched out a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't remember Austin getting 7th for some reason.
Austin kind of, after Lisa went home, it was basically like Austin and Devin and Will were kind of on the bottom, and then Austin was very upset at the rest of the people for voting off Eliza, and kind of like it was kind of like everyone kind of agreed like, okay, Austin's going home. I think it was unanimous.
Okay.
Will and Devin kind of threw him under the bus.
Yeah, and I think that kind of shows how AJ is a better player. As much as I love Austin, just I don't think AJ would ever been in a situation where it would have been that easy to vote them out. And,
I mean, it definitely was it required an insanely convoluted vote for AJ to get voted off here. So AJ's name was thrown out at a million times.
Yeah, but they kept on scraping by, and I don't think you would have turned on them unless it was obviously this absolute one cases scenario, or it was much easier, I feel like, for people to turn on Austin before that. Yeah,
I mean, AJ even got Leia refused to write AJ's name down, even though it would have objectively saved her life.
Yeah,
Leia was thinking that she might be sealing her own fate by voting for Andrew, and she still did. So, I mean, I think that's speaks to their game, that they secured that loyalty from Leia, who beforehand saying oh, I'm loyal to my friends, but it's okay, we don't even have a friendship, but basically AJ got onto Leia's list.
Yeah,
so I think that's a big testament to their game.
Clawing onto Leia's list is one of the most impressive things, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like for the same reason, I would say that puts AJ ahead of Ivy for sure.
Yeah, I think it's between Maggie and AJ for second. I'd probably say AJ third, behind Maggie. That's my initial gut reaction. Without having discussed it.
Yeah. AJ versus Maggie.
They were both able to make really strong connections in the beginning.
Yep.
They
both had I could see a similarity, and they both sort of had this loose cannon type.
A little bit.
Is maybe a downside, but also they're both able to use that to make some. But neither of them was afraid to make moves.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean,
I guess Maggie kind of got screwed by being loyal to you, Sam.
So did AJ.
It was more well, Maggie, she got screwed because she trusted you too much. The whole idea was we were supposed to make our move on Jack at the final, but she kind of blew it up. She's like, no, Sarah will be with us, and then you ended up because we had a plan of me, Maggie, Nick, and Lucy to go to the final four, but then it ended up getting blown up by kind of that plan getting leaked. Well, first to you, and then to Mike, and then to Jack. And after that, Maggie wasn't able to get back into the majority. But I mean, at the same time, it made sense for her. I think the original plan was to get rid of Nick, and then she was like, "No, I want to save Nick. Nick's never for me," and she was right. But it ended up being I think that she was very confident in a relationship with like you, Sarah, and I ended up screwing her over because you were closer with Mike than she realized. It's like, I don't know. It's like it wasn't like a really, really big, like horrible mistake, but.
Yeah. And then I feel like AJ was more so trying to prove themselves by like upping their threat level.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was kind of the demise there.
AJ kind of also just like, I feel like there was enough times where like they just got on like Bailey's bad side and like Andrew's bad side that like, I feel like those two were always wanted AJ out like every week. Whereas Maggie, I don't know if she really had enemies up until like the week she was voted off. I mean, I guess she had me and Bailey, her and AJ both share that. But like, as far as the post-merge, it wasn't like Maggie had enemies really. And like, I think Maggie also was really popular with the jury. Like, I think if Maggie got to the end, like, I feel like the jury would have like really loved that. Versus AJ might have had a more uphill battle.
That's true. Yeah.
I feel like, sorry.
No, that's a really good point, actually. Thinking about if they could have won the season, I think Maggie has a higher. I think Maggie has a higher chance of winning if she's at the end.
Yeah.
I think AJ has a higher chance of getting to the end.
I definitely agree. Yeah. If AJ went out in a really convoluted way, and if like with where an idol had to be played and votes were split a weird way, and then like I had to decide between the two, like if that hadn't happened, AJ probably would have made it at least a few more weeks.
I just want to say, I feel like they almost had like flipped jury perceptions, because I feel like in game, like, or at least you were like really concerned about AJ on the jury, like being a jury threat, but then probably in reality, like looking back now, they probably wouldn't have been the biggest jury threat, or like, I mean, it's hard to say, but like, whereas I think for Maggie, I feel like maybe people in game, at least I know for a while was like, I could see myself going in with Maggie for sure. Like, I don't think people would vote for her. She's not as strategic or whatever. When in reality, I feel like she would have been a huge jury threat.
That's true.
So like, I feel like it's better to be that than the opposite, you know?
Yeah.
I think
like I can see a lot of circumstances where like Maggie is like brought to the end as a GOAT that ends up winning, you know?
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think that what that boils down to is the social game. Like that, I feel like AJ did make a lot more like strategic moves throughout the game than people gave them credit for, but just the social game wasn't as good, where like Bree, Bailey, like Crouch just like didn't like AJ in the game, wanted him out, like literally because they didn't like them. Versus Maggie, I feel like didn't necessarily make a ton of moves in the post merge. Like she kind of rode like with the majority, but she was just like very well liked by everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I just keep going back to the merge like move though. Like Maggie never made a move that big. I mean, I guess you played an idol to get rid of Jeremy. Maybe that's a big move.
I mean, that was a good week. I feel like she did a lot of good things. I don't know.
I think I'm good with I think I agree though.
I feel like she played the swap pretty well. I feel like
that's true. Yeah. Kind of got Kevin and Bailey back on her side. Yeah, I'm good with that. It's a close one, though. It's a good one. So AJ is number 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Moving on to another stacked freaking group. Oh, my God.
6.
Okay, for 6th placers, we have Brady in 4th, and then Jackson, and then Jack, our very own Jack, and then Liz as number 1. That is a freaking stacked bunch.
Yeah, I know.
I'm biased, but I think it's the best. I think it's the best group. Come on. I mean, even take me out. You have Liz, the host, Brady of this season, Jackson, the fan favorite.
Yeah.
And Bailey's a huge character across both seasons.
Yeah. Oh. I think 6th place is best place.
Review for Bailey before we get to the rank.
Oh yeah. I think Bailey is definitely. I guess I just said this for AJ, but maybe even more so for Bailey in terms of just like most improved player going in. Like I feel like, she just kind of had the reputation from season 2 of just like, oh, the person who Maggie got in a fight with, and got voted, and was Kevin's friend,
and like associated with Kevin.
Yeah. Where she was very, very much her own like huge player this time, and like I feel like a big theme of like the early merge and stuff is Bailey and the Bailey group and the Bailey flip-flopping all the time, and but like I feel like a lot of, and obviously her relationship with Noah, like I mean outside of the game and like that whole thing with the Abby leak and everything, like I feel like Bailey is a huge part of this season. And
I agree.
Yeah, I mean just I think really just showed her own with like strategic chops, like really making a lot of huge moves, and I don't know, like being kind of like I feel like but at this point in the game there's definitely kind of like the two factions of like the Sam and Leia versus like the non-Sam and Leia, and I feel like she was definitely kind of like the leader of that faction at this point.
The Adawas.
The Adawas, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Bailey had to get like just sort of like AJ, like a most improved like award of like, she came in kind of like was seen originally as like whatever Kevin's lackey or kind of like whatever, didn't do a ton in season 2 pre-merge, but she came back, like had a big game in All-Stars, made a lot of big moves, really powerful player. I think she had some of those quotable moments like overall, like literally like you could like name like 10 different Bailey lines that were all like incredible. Like, you just lost my vote, like like, did you just get rid of me? Did you just vote me out because I'm dating my production?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Classic Bailey with her one-liners.
Yeah. And I don't want to be friends with you. Everything is great. And then I think that if she hadn't got voted off at Final 6, I think she had a really very clear path to the end, and she would have got votes for sure. So I think that Bailey played a great game, and just she literally got out in like a 3-2-1, which is another tough move to pull off. So
I think her biggest I guess flaw in terms of gameplay is just like maybe spilling too much sometimes.
Yeah.
Like she even like busted her own plan, and it still worked out for her. But that's like the one thing I can point out that was kind of a flaw, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like she could be, as a Survivor player, like pretty impulsive, like and like a lot of these moments, like great one-liners, are kind of just like an impulsive little like clapback, or and which I love, and it's not how she is like as a person, but I guess just in terms of Survivor game, I feel like she's very much like she sees a opportunity to make a move and like just takes it, like sometimes without like fully thinking through the ramifications. But I mean, I think it worked out most of the time pretty good for her.
I think her instincts are pretty good.
Yeah.
Good, having that like good instincts, and also like kind of like just knowing when to act on it and being strategic. So Bailey versus Brady.
And also I wanted to, before we go into this, maybe this could be part of the ranking, is so who do you think wins of a final 3 if it's like reversed? So it's like the final 3 is Bailey, Crouch, and Cooper.
I think
you think Bailey?
Yeah. That's what I would want. That's probably what I'd have voted for.
You would have voted for her over Cooper, you think?
I mean, it also depends on how.
Yeah.
I feel like the final 3 weeks are almost like the most important ones. Like it really depends what happens in those 3 weeks.
Which is why it's so hard to do those hypotheticals, which I always just keep bringing them up. But
I feel like Bailey is the one that I appreciated her social game the most at that time. Like Crouch and I didn't talk that much, and then Cooper, as much as we had a good relationship, like I just like saw him as like very sketchy and like the enemy, versus Bailey. I just felt like she had a better social game. Like I just wanted her to win more.
And I feel like Leia doesn't vote for Cooper. I feel like Leia probably votes for Bailey.
Yeah.
And I feel like Megan probably votes for Bailey for women winner. And I mean, I don't know.
And then, I don't know. Megan probably votes for Megan. Also, Megan and Bailey had beef. Like maybe she votes.
They did have beef.
Andrew.
Wait, if I remember, so why did Brady get voted out again? Was he too big of a threat?
Yeah, Dylan kind of just like Dylan had wanted him out for a while, and Dylan finally decided to flip. And yeah, he was. I think he's too big of a threat, like especially physical threat. Like he'd won a couple of immunities.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a big reason.
I mean, I think Bailey above Brady personally.
Yeah.
And then this is season 4, Jackson.
Yes.
Season 4, Jackson. I mean, he went out kind of funnily.
Mm-hmm.
He thought he was in a better position than he was.
Yeah.
And does Jackson win against Dale? I don't think he does.
No, but I feel like in a world where Dale doesn't play season 4, like I can see Jackson really like, I don't know, being the big strategic force of the season. I don't know.
Dale was just so dominant.
Yeah.
In that season.
Yeah. That's the thing, is because Jackson was like a really good player, but he just also like, because it was kind of under Dale's spell. Like everybody was like, he thought that Dale was completely with them. They were using each other as shields, but Dale realized he just like didn't need Jackson anymore. He's like, okay, Jackson's turn to go. Cut him off.
Right.
And I feel like he, like in the game, had more of a perception, at least until like I feel like the final few weeks, of kind of being like the biggest threat. Like I feel like I've mentioned this like a lot of times now on this podcast, but I feel like when I went out, I thought he was the one that was pulling the strings, and it took a while to realize as people kept coming in that it was Dale. So like I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I feel like
Dale must have done a really good job at just like hiding his threat level. Like, because to production it seemed like so obvious, like Dale was like the Boston Rob, like from the very beginning. But I feel like that's not the way he came off to like the other players at all.
I feel like Jackson very much came across as the scheming lawyer, which like I feel like made it hard for him to get to the end. But like I feel like if he does get to the end, he gets a lot of. He probably wins against anybody who's not Dale or Shannon.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah, which he knew, like he was going to get rid of Shannon at 6. He wanted to get rid of Dale at like 5 or 4.
Yeah.
Right, like he would have been the one, like he wouldn't have pulled a Shannon. He would have gotten rid of Dale.
Oh yeah,
before the end.
Oh,
he's like not loyal like that, or like very empathetic, or not empathetic, just like sentimental.
It's just not how I think he separates the game in real life.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he would do what needs to be done.
But I really feel like it's the theme of the 6 placers is like the person who's the really big threat, who like everybody knows is the big threat.
Yeah.
Who, like it seems like it's really hard for these people to get past 6th place. Like I can't really imagine a lot of ways that Jackson really makes it much further.
No.
You know?
I guess none of y'all made it further in a different season.
Yeah.
It's true. Bailey, I think that she did definitely have that perception too of like being a really big threat in the final 6. Like I think that Bailey was, the difference was that like she was just misted by Leia and thinking that like she definitely had Leia's vote when she didn't. Similar to like Jackson being misted by Dale a little bit. Like Jackson thought he was Dale's number 1, but really it was Shannon. Kind of like same with like Bailey thought that Leia was her number 1, whereas really it was me. So like there's a lot of parallels for sure. And yeah, I can definitely agree with you. I can see what you're saying. And like 6th place is kind of a ceiling in some ways. Like Liz also like massive threat. Like she did kind of go out in a weird way.
Yeah,
I could see Liz making it further for some reason.
Yeah,
she only went out because the idol was like misplayed, and then like Tarowski Fall basically made a movie he shouldn't have made. He should have let Tarowski go to Rocks, and he didn't, and it ended up like costing Liz.
Wait, I don't remember what happened at that tribal council. I feel like nobody ever mentions that tribal council.
Nothing quotable from that one at all.
Yeah.
Nothing memorable. I don't know. Kind of like a boring one.
I think Liz is still at the top for me.
Oh, definitely.
So I think Liz being the top, Brady being the bottom is like
where's Bailey?
locked in for me.
Where's Bailey with the Jacks?
I think like Jack, you had like 2 idols. You had like really good. You had like multiple alliances. You just, I guess your threat level got too high, which is like the same as like a lot of these people.
I think the thing we said about you versus Jackson is that like you you had like probably a better social game than Jackson did, and that like Jackson, everyone's kind of like, oh, like he's a little bit like slimy. I don't know if I want him to win. Versus like no one thought that about you. Everyone's like, oh, like Jack is so likable. Like,
well, yeah, that's why he's ranked above.
Yeah.
But like, where does Bailey fall?
Yeah. I feel like you and Jackson. I feel like my gut feeling is she's below Jackson, just because I feel like Jackson played almost a flawless game in season 4. Like, there's really nothing. There's really no mistake you can point to other than I guess like. I don't know, like trusted Dale too much, but even if you didn't trust Dale, like would he be able to do anything about it? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's really difficult to think about what Jackson did wrong.
I also think if we run this back a couple times, there are cases where Bailey can like blow up her game earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also, Bailey should have just got her, Cooper, and Andrew on the same page. Like we cannot forget that they voted separately when they knew it was going to be 3 versus 3, or at least they should have known it was 3 versus 3. And they like her and Cooper were butting heads. They're both too stubborn. They couldn't just vote together, and that was what ultimately like cost her her game, and probably cost all 3 of them, her, Cooper, and Andrew, their games. So like to me, I feel like that's a kind of a mistake that can't be overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's lock that in then.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still second. Let's go.
So it goes Liz, Jack, Jackson, Bailey, Brady for 6th.
Which honestly, like, yeah, man, it's just such a good group. It's like it's hard to believe that Bailey's number 4 in any group.
Yeah.
But it's because like literally all these people are like insanely good players.
It's also interesting because in 5th place we have a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, it's all men.
Because it's Crouch, right, on All Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we have currently we have Thal, then Mike, then Will, then Nate, and then we have
first to last. Yeah.
Crouch to add to the bunch. Wow, I mean Nate was not even bad.
Yeah, the
He's
puzzler.
at the bottom.
Yeah. Eulogy for Crouch. For the Rock.
Did we? Yeah. Okay.
Crouch. I mean, like, incredible story. Like, he went out because he drew the Rock in like this insane, very emotional tribal council. Went out in a really noble way, like defending Austin. And I feel like everyone expected Crouch to be a big character in All Stars. Everyone expected him to come back. But he literally was like, "You'll see me on All Stars." And it makes so much sense to me that he ends up making it all the way to the finale, and like, kind of has this even like heroic arc in the finale where like he goes out because he's unwilling to throw Cooper under the bus. Like, it's against my code, you know. It was a big threat. So I think Crouch, I love that. I loved his whole story, being an underdog, kind of getting redemption from drawing the Rock, and like I'm glad he got a full experience in All Stars, and kind of gets to go out and ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, I feel like it's really interesting how both the times he went out are like really dramatic tribal councils where he didn't want to throw somebody under the bus, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
Like at the end of the day, it came back to like his loyalty of somebody, and like, you know.
I feel like he's like a gushier version of Jackson. Like they're both kind of like a similar archetype, but then like Andrew's more like sentimental.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Like, yeah, he has more kind of like a heart of gold type of vibe, whereas like Jackson doesn't have a heart at all, you know?
We love him though.
Yeah.
We love him for that.
Yeah. Crouch was great. I mean, maybe a bit cocky at times, I guess, is what the big critique was, but like, you know, something to be said about confidence. He says he was going to make it to the end, and arguably he did.
Yeah.
He kept speaking it into the universe. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, that dildo confessional near the end was pretty great.
It's hilarious.
Are we supposed to say that it was a dildo? Do people know that, even though it's blurred out?
I'll blow out your mouth while you're saying it. Yeah. Yeah. Crouch.
All right, let's rank him. This one's tough. Definitely below Thal. I'm sorry, but Thal is an icon.
I think above Nate.
One of the best players.
Above Nate, for sure.
Okay, yeah, below Thal, above Nate. So between Mike and Will. I mean, what's Crouch's win equity at the end? That's what we gotta think.
Ooh.
I think Mike is a better player because Mike just had such good instincts throughout the whole game, and like
Mike always voted correctly until
that's what I'm saying. Like, and he's very like Mike is so level-headed.
But I almost feel like we're getting a lot, and I keep accidentally kind of getting the territory where I'm like, it sounds like I'm criticizing like their personality, which I did not going to put as a Survivor thing. Like I feel like he's like not charismatic enough to really win a lot of final threes. Like I think he has a lot of like charisma.
Crouch?
No,
Mike.
Mike. Like I feel like that's kind of the joke about him is that I feel like he just has the monotone start to the confessionals. Where like, I don't know, like I feel like Crouch has a better chance of giving like a really entertaining final three performance. Maybe it would be really bad, maybe it'd be really good. Whereas I feel like there's a lot of, especially of how I don't know, the people who are there near the end of season 2, like I feel like he could get overshadowed a lot at Final Tribal Council and just kind of be like the chill guy. I don't know.
But
do you think he would like fight? Like, how much would he like poke holes into other people's games?
Yeah.
I feel like Mike beats Nick, Mallory, and Lucy for sure, though.
Yeah.
Like, it really was like he just couldn't go to the end with Sarah. But he was also planning on going to the end with you. So like that.
And he still would have gotten votes, is the thing, I think.
Yeah, but he had no shot of winning.
I remember like in the jury, us being like, okay, like if Sarah gets to the end, she wins in a landslide. If she's not there, Mike wins in a landslide. If neither of them are there, we're like, I don't even know. Like, who knows who wins in that case? And then that's ultimately what happened. But like, I feel like at the time, like when it was Final Five, we're like, oh, like Sarah's going to destroy everybody, but if she's not there, then like Mike will for sure win.
Yeah.
Because like he'd been much more in the driver's seat throughout the game. The two of you had both been in the driver's seat the entire game. I mean, he had always known what was happening. He was the one that actually really pushed for getting me out at the final 8, which was like definitely the correct instinct.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that was like honestly a lot of his doing.
All right. I'm back on Team Mike.
Yeah. Now
Will
is interesting because I do think Will is a good player. Like that one meeting he had with Kevin, like I know he can be like this big personality and like kind of like mad scientist vibes, but he actually does have a pretty good handle on the game in general.
I think about season 3, Will. I mean,
season 3, Will.
He did have a lot of control in the pre-merge, and his game got kind of fucked by the demerge and the But even then, like all of his allies kept getting voted off one by one, and he always managed to like scramble and survive somehow. Like Ben turns on him, he goes over to Paddock. Paddock gets screwed over, he has Elisa. Elisa gets screwed over, now he has Dylan and Devin. Like he's
like adapting.
Yeah, he was always able to like kind of adapt, and like in All Stars, you saw him try and do that when Kevin turned on him. He was kind of like, he had Bachwick, he's kind of turning into like Bailey and Cooper, and they kind of wanted to help him, but then like Cooper just knew that he couldn't because Will's too dangerous to keep around. Will also had, well, I don't know, I can't talk about season 5 Will because that's really different, but season 3 Will versus season 5 Crouch.
I mean, now like more I'm thinking about it, like who does Crouch beat in the end? Like I feel like Bailey like wins. I mean, again, it's hard to say, blah, 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 but like I feel like Cooper has like just the best, like just like such a good story of the host and Cooper, and he's Cooper. Like I find it really like if he goes in with Cooper, even if it's like him, Cooper, and Bree, like I feel like Cooper wins that. That's probably his best chance of the final 3.
Also, was him, Cooper, and Bree just voted off me and Leia.
Yeah.
And now Bree is probably getting a lot of support. But Crouch also, like, I think that he would just lean on, like, he had the underdog status. Like, he came in, like, whatever, not a part of the friends. Like, he'd been in the bottom for a long time, like, played an idol correct. Like, he also had probably the most charisma out of anyone in the final 5. Pretty close to the most. Like, everyone just liked him. Like, the jury just wanted him to win. They didn't even care about his resume. They just wanted him.
Yeah.
just because they liked him. So I don't know, like, because he also didn't. There wasn't very many moves where like, Crouch could point to and be like, "Oh, like, I made sure that this person went home." Like, he probably should have not let Megan go home. He probably should have not let like AJ go home.
Like, I guess would Bailey and Cooper be like, "You just hid behind me."
Yeah.
To Crouch.
Like Cooper just kind of like, I feel like really just protected him a lot of the time. Like it would just be like, oh, we're not getting Crouch this week, but we'll get him next week. Like I don't like. I mean, I feel like you give him props for getting that relationship with Cooper for sure. But like, I feel like there wasn't a lot that he was actually doing those weeks.
Yeah, like I don't see Will as somebody who hides behind people.
No, Will definitely. Like, that's true. I mean, social game wise, like who does Will beat in the final? If he would, I guess it had to be final 2 for this season. I think he wanted to go with Devin.
I feel like he beats Devin.
I think he does. Yeah.
I feel like he
beats Cassie.
Yeah. Does he beat Dylan? I don't know. I mean, Dylan and Devin was pretty close.
I don't know. Dylan had a better social game than Will.
Yeah.
A better social game than Devin. I feel like social game really does end up being the deciding factor in a lot of these final.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest,
he definitely loses to Aaron.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like he is like in his ideal scenario, he wins because I feel like if it's him and Devin at the end, if he wanted to go with Devin,
right? Because it is a final 2.
Yeah. Whereas like in Crouch's ideal scenario, I feel like he probably loses. You know, like I feel like you look towards what their ideal scenario is.
I almost feel like Will played harder than Crouch. I don't know. Maybe it was just.
Yeah, it's just like
edit, but I don't.
Yeah, I agree. I think he did. I mean, I think that Will was more powerful in the course of season 3 than Crouch was in season 5, where it never really felt like Crouch was like in the driver's seat. But like there are definitely points where like Will was like in the driver's seat,
in the pilot seat.
Yes.
The pilot seat. Yeah, and the rocket ship.
Yeah, I'm good with putting Will above Crouch. Season 3 Will above season 5 Crouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, good with me.
All right.
So final rankings on final 5. We got number 1, Alex Thal. Number 2, Mike Baker.
Mike.
Number 3 is season 3 Will. Number 4, season 5 Crouch. And number 5 is the puzzler, Nate. So top 4, your favorites. We're going through all of our placements today. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just like a trip down memory lane.
I know.
It really is. That's kind of fun.
The Pioneer curse got kind of broken, I guess, because Cooper doesn't have any Pioneer. Well, he's Pioneer adjacent, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess whatever. Friends with Leia, friends with. So, for our rankings, got to give a eulogy for the Coopster.
I mean, where do you even start?
Gotta admire the effort. Like, honestly, the dedication, the passion to Survivor.
Yeah.
Very evident.
He wanted it bad.
Like, I think we talk about, like, I think him and AJ are, like, the two people who just put the most effort into the season, almost seems like. Like, in just terms of just, like, grinding every single possible thing. I mean, Sam, I think you did a hell of a lot, too. That maybe it's top. Those are the 3. But just, like, even just, like, seeing him never accept defeat, like, in this finale, going through all the different possible things, like...
Oh, yeah.
The group
making
chat.
Up the Ross thing, yeah. Just, you know, trying to grind you down with other things. You know, wanting it enough to stay on the bow statue till break of dawn. Like,
yeah.
I mean, just always like never just taking it like the easy way. Always like fighting for Crouch all those weeks. You know, when he could have just easily been like, like I don't like just keep going through this week. It's fine. You know, just vote him out. Like he always like I feel like is fighting for what he wants. You know.
Right.
Oh, you get the feeling that Cooper will like never ever. He won't give up like until he literally like he physically cannot go any longer. And he's also just very good survivor instincts, good strategic mind. Like I think made a big move at the final 9. It did end up kind of like costing him his position in the game, but he you would think that he was a target at final 8, but he managed to just find a way to get past the vote like over and over and over, and was like this close to getting to the end. Just needed Bree to turn on Leia, which she like said that she would. So and then he just need or Bree to get voted off, but she asked to be voted off. So like he was close. Yeah. I think he had a great season.
Sorry, interrupting.
That's all I had.
I think when you look at Survivor Michigan Era 1, it's kind of the story of Cooper from his first season to being the host, and then like this whole season and coming so close. Like he's definitely in the most episodes of anybody in Survivor Michigan, you know.
Yeah, if there's one thing about Cooper, he knows how to get his screen time.
I mean, he probably says a sentence in every single Survivor Michigan episode because, you know, he's voted out before the finale in season 1, but I guess he talks like he has a jury question. Was it the final 5 or final 6 now? I don't know. It's close. He gets his screen time.
Yes, he does. And people like freaking Sarah, who didn't want to work with him at all in the beginning, he somehow won over a little bit.
It's true.
It's kind of hard to like. I don't know. Like he's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
So, ranking of 4th place, we got number 1, Sarah Z, right here.
Right there.
Season 2.
Woo.
Right there. Number 2, we got Leia from season 1. Number 3, we got the Lion, Matthew Israel from season 4. And then number 4, we have Cassie from season 3.
Definitely below Cassie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Below Cassie. There we go. Done. 3rd place. I'm just kidding.
So I think this is a really interesting group because I feel like the top 2 people are people who, if they didn't get voted out here, they would have won. And I feel like the bottom 2 people are people who like didn't have that much chance of a winning.
Yeah.
And I think my take is that Cooper is squarely in the middle of these groups because I feel like
Cooper in the middle? What? Cooper's never played.
I know, exactly. Yeah, he's the king of playing in the middle. So, but like, you know, I think that even if Bree gets voted out here, as was the plan, it's not a slam dunk at all that Cooper wins. Like we talked about this a lot earlier, but like I feel like it's a very like up in the air final 3 of you, Leia, and Cooper. And he could win that, but it's not a slam dunk. Like Sarah and Leia could like phone in final tribal council and probably win. Maybe not Leia. I don't know. I feel like Sarah, you could have just gone up there.
I feel like there's debate on Leia would have won or not, but I think that Leia like played the best game of anyone in the final 4 in season 1 easily.
I mean,
and like
I feel like it's a thing that Leia would win, right? I feel like when we're talking to people on the jury and stuff in season 1,
Leia like theoretically in a final tribal, like I feel like she'd be undefeated.
Yeah,
obviously. I mean, I don't know. Leia, like season 1, Leia basically ran the game. I mean, her and Mitch. But I think Leia probably more so. And like, yeah, Crouch beat Mitch, but also Mitch kind of like had a horrific final 4 that I think probably drops his stock a lot with the jury versus Leia. She would have won that tiebreaker against Crouch. Like she probably I think she definitely 100% wins if she beats Crouch in that tiebreaker against Brittany and Mitch. Like people may say like, oh, Brittany could have won.
It's Crouch in a tiebreaker.
Yeah, Crouch, Tarowski, same thing.
Yeah, great legs.
They both got legs. Yeah.
I honestly, first gut reaction, I agree. I think that Cooper's in the middle. I think the Leia, season 1 Leia, I feel like had a much better, just like even thinking about it, Cooper didn't vote correctly from the final 8 to the end. versus Leia voted correctly season 1 like every time. Other than Final Four where she went home. So like I just feel like season 1 Leia had more of an influence over the game. But then compared to Matthew in season 4, like Matthew was just probably not controlling things or had as much influence as Cooper did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like Matthew, it's very hard, I think, for him to win a Final 3.
But Cooper, I feel like against anyone, like you cannot count him out. Like
you cannot count him out. Yeah,
you never know what he would have said. I mean, maybe Matthew also could have had a really good pitch, but like I feel like the perception of Matthew in season 4 was probably a bit worse. Like,
mm-hmm.
Didn't we make a joke that he went from like the lion to the gazelle?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I don't know who said it, but probably like Dale or Jackson or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Jack.
I feel like we haven't done enough of our old inside jokes this episode for our last Era 1.
Yeah,
we're going to cram them all in.
Also, shout out to Lavana for getting her freaking role in this TV show. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
She's like in some sort of TV show, I think on Apple TV.
It's so dope.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't shock me. It doesn't shock me at all. She's very talented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As Mitch would say, very talented.
Very talented. Yeah,
very
and I feel like she's been controlling everything from behind the scenes. We didn't really kind of realize why she was doing these things, but then I think now we can see, like, you know, we've seen her like influence all these seasons behind the scenes through like just the mystical Lavana. And I feel like now we realize it's for some reason creating a butterfly effect that gets her cast in this TV show.
Yeah.
Like strangely, if like one vote went differently in Inspire Michigan, like there would have been like butterfly effects.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
she was playing the long game here.
Exactly.
She saw what she needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
All right, shall we move on to third?
Third place. Let's do it.
It's really interesting. It's literally all women. We've got Erin, then Brittany, then Lucy, then Kat, and now we have Bree.
Huh, that is interesting.
And then the winner is all white men except for Mallory.
Yeah.
White men in the business school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second place is a bit more of a mix, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Third is literally all women. Well, it's also like it's funny because I guess we'll give a Brie eulogy first.
Okay. Yes.
BTS icon.
Briach.
Fashion icon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, honestly, like one of the best social players in the game.
Yeah. First third placer to get a vote at Final Title Council, I think.
Really? Wait,
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Did Brittany not get a single vote?
No, she didn't.
No.
She should have,
Damn.
Rob.
Yeah, she should have. And then I guess Erin wasn't even in final tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Erin's almost like an anomaly in this one because she like would have definitely won.
Like Erin should be talked about with like the fourth placers. I feel like just as terms of like the final juror, you know, like I feel like it's like, you know, her with you and Leia and Matthew and Cooper and kind of in my mind, but
Rob got us this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Erin makes more sense in that spot than like Cassie from season 3.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Bree, great social game. I think that Bree did a really good job of like just always making sure that it wasn't her name that was getting tossed out. She like had a floater strategy that like allowed her to be in the majority, but also like not necessarily like the biggest threat that was being thrown out.
And it's interesting, because in our first season, I feel like we all thought she was like really, really strategic, like that was her reputation, and so she kind of like toned it down this season.
Did.
I remember people saying like she would actually talk to you about like other things instead of not just like a strategy session for like an hour, which was kind of like Mallory's thing in our season.
Yeah, didn't we talk about that in our interview with her? Like, I feel like she did that very intentionally.
Yeah, because we all thought she was like this major strategic threat.
I think it was really smart of her to model her game after Mallory, who had just won, and like it's probably I think a big reason for making it from 10th to 3rd. But the difference is that like she needed to make a move at the end in order to win. And she was in the perfect position to do it, and she could have done it, and she just decided she didn't want to. And like, you know, all power to her. It's not like she was like tricked at the end. Like, she basically made a decision that like, yeah, I know that I should turn on Leia, and I'm just like not going to. Kind of like Shannon with Dale. And like, you know, respect to her for making the decision that she felt good with in the end. But it's really what it came down to with Brie. She kind of ended on her own terms. And despite like literally not making that move and then asking to be voted off, being the first person in my knowledge in Survivor history to be blindsided into the final 3, around and being the only place to get a vote.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a crazy turnaround, final tribal, that she was like, yeah, like, whatever, I tried to quit, but guess what? Like, I'm here, and then
still here.
You vote.
Well, if she didn't try to quit and like actually like own her game, I think she could have gotten some votes.
Yeah, I feel like that probably disqualified her in a lot of the jurors' minds.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to want to vote for somebody who just asked to be voted out the week before.
I mean, fair.
But Megan wasn't there, so she didn't see that, so that's why she voted for her.
Yeah, it's true. She didn't show up. She didn't read the chat. Like, she didn't know anything about this.
So Megan's kind of like the true objective juror, and like, you know, just judging based on Final Tribal Council.
She's the most objective because she didn't show up at the tribals.
Yeah.
It's like going into a jury trial and not showing up for any of the arguments and just going to like the very end. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But also Megan just votes with the heart. So
yeah,
she votes for who she wants to win.
And that wasn't you.
No, and that's because I didn't do a good job of being with my social game with Megan, but Brie definitely did.
Yeah, I mean, I guess y'all just have more like drama.
I also liked what Brie said about like her like distinguishing her game from mine. She said that like, yes, Sam did a lot more things, but like I put myself in a position where I didn't need to do all those things. Like I didn't need to make these like messy moves in order to get to the end.
People always like, I don't know, don't give those type of games enough credit just because it's not flashy. But it is a valid strategy. It's a valid strategy, but it's just hard to win with that strategy against people that have done more. I feel like that strategy is better if you've gone with people that also have a similar strategy, or like, I guess like haven't, like Devin and Dylan, for example, or like Mallory versus Nick. Like Mallory also had the fact that she like voted correctly a bunch of times and Nick hadn't, but Brie couldn't really say like, oh, like I was in the know the whole time and Sam and Leia weren't. And like we also had always been in the majority. But I definitely agree. Like I feel like that strategy does deserve a lot of credit, but there comes a point where if like all else is equal, people will then go to like moves that you've made.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a lazy strategy a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it can be perceived like I don't definitely think that it was like Brie definitely was not lazy. Like she was making a lot of decisions and doing things, and it was an active choice to like not be chaotic. But yeah, I don't know. The jury and All Stars just wanted to see like more moves, I think. And Brie recognized that, and like she was told that by the people that were going to be in the jury, and she just didn't want to vote off Leia.
Yeah. The thing is, like, a Mallory game can win a season of newbies, but I feel like it's really hard for Mallory to win All Stars, you know?
Yeah, like if you want to win an All Star season, I think you have to play a flashier game.
Yeah, just because everyone's making a bunch of moves. Like Nick couldn't point to like a bunch of huge moves that he had made throughout season 2, or like even like Devin couldn't versus Dylan, who also played kind of a more understated game. You know, like I said, both of them may play more understated games, but the people they were up against, like it wasn't like those people had made a ton of moves that they were able to claim either, you know? So I feel like Brie, maybe she goes with like AJ, or like, I don't even know. If she votes off me and Leia, I think she wins, honestly.
All right, let's rank her.
Brie versus Kat. I don't know about this one.
They're such different people.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of gameplay, I mean, I think Brie above Kat for sure.
Yeah.
Like Kat genuinely didn't really dedicate too much time to the game, I think.
No.
That's what I thought at least.
And she cheated.
True.
And she said
yeah.
she hated the game, but not in the same way that Leia hated the game. Like
she actually hates the game.
Yeah. Actually like, oh, I want to sleep. I don't want to be here.
Leia, I feel like hates Survivor because of how much she loves Survivor.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see Kat writing a thesis about Survivor.
Yeah.
She just doesn't care about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lucy. I mean, I think that Brie is definitely above Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, season 2 Lucy is very different from season 5 Lucy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Season 2 Lucy was definitely just. I mean, she still had a little spunk, you know, and like.
She made some moves at the end.
She like found the idol, like that kind of stuff. But her perception was very, I guess, naive, and she was like, I don't know.
I feel like she like became season 5 Lucy at like the final 5 vote.
Yeah.
Of season 2.
Yeah.
You know,
when she pulled the idol out of her boot.
Yeah. That's when she evolved.
And then like won the final 4 challenge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I Can Survive on an Island was maybe the start part of the
that
start.
was the start.
That was true. That was the awakening. Yeah.
I feel like then she started like every week. She was in the minority, but she was very actively trying to like make something happen at least. Like, but
like maybe she's a little too late for Lucy in season 2.
Yeah, I mean, also like she just wasn't able to pull off a lot of these big moves.
Yeah.
You know, she was in the minority when we tried to get rid of Jack at final 8, final 7. Like, I don't think she wanted Maggie to go home. There just weren't any numbers to save her. Like her, Nick, and Maggie were kind of on the bottom after I went home, and then she got the idol, but like everyone kind of wanted Jack out, and like everyone kind of wanted Mike and Sarah out. Like versus Brie was like in the majority and like actually was actively making moves to get rid of like like Brie pretty much like single-handedly got rid of AJ final 7. Then final 6, like she was part of that 3-2-1. Final 5, she was the swing vote. So like, and for the whole rest of the game before that, Brie was like very actively doing a lot and like always in the conversations. So,
yep.
Brie versus Brittany.
Brittany's the fact that Brie tried to quit. Like, there's no way she ranks above Brittany for me.
I give you that. Let me at least make a case. I don't know if I believe in it, but I want to make the case at least. Scoreboard, 1 vote to 0 votes.
We got to vote.
She got a vote to win Survivor Michigan.
And also,
yeah, I feel like you said, Sam, like it's at least she has a really. This is getting into more of like theoreticals and stuff, but like there's a way that she could have won the game possibly with voting out you and Leia. Brittany, I feel like as she was a great game player and like I feel like she wanted really hard to win. I feel like there wasn't really a ton of ways that she could have won season 1. Like I feel like she goes to the end against either the Alexes or Liz or Leia. Like she loses. I'm trying to like come up with like a combination of people that win Brittany. Like as great as much as I love Brittany, like I feel like she
had a perception,
yeah, she had a really big perception issue, which I think Brie also did. But I feel like
it wasn't as bad with Brie, I don't think.
Yeah,
like, people still like respected Brie's game, but it was just more that like relative to the other people, they wanted her to like make a move.
Yeah,
but people wanted to vote for Brie. Like they really wanted to. It seemed like.
And I feel like from like an audience perception or perspective, like I think Brie is hurt by like not filming as many confessionals and stuff, and like you know saying that like I don't think she filmed as much footage as a lot of other people. So like we get more the perception of her not doing stuff when I feel like she was, and sure people in the game wanted her to do more stuff, but like I don't know. I feel like. And Brittany obviously did a ton of stuff. Like I feel like she was playing hard and just had a perception issue. I don't know.
I also think, I mean, there's an argument to be made that if Brittany is with, let's say Leia wins the tiebreaker, it's Leia, Mitch, and Brittany, that Mitch and Leia could have like split votes somehow, and like Brittany could have won maybe, just because like Leia did have some enemies on the jury, and Brittany had less enemies. Like she did have probably the best social game of her alliance of like her, Leia, and Mitch. But It's a close one for me. I don't know.
I don't know. I do think I just made that whole spiel, but I think I do kind of want to go back to. It's hard to say somebody. It's hard to vote for somebody or like put somebody up high when they tried to quit at Final Four. You know.
Yeah.
I know like there's a lot going on for her. Like I know that was really hard for her and everything, but
yeah,
looking at it objectively, I don't know.
I just feel like Brittany's like a little quieter, and like that was part of her perception issue, which is annoying because like she actually is like a really good player.
Yeah.
And like thinks a lot about like she had her little whiteboard. She started the whiteboard.
It's true. And she was very perceptive. I feel like both of them, I guess, were very perceptive on exactly where they stood in the game and where like how everybody else perceived them. I feel like both of them were good with that, but Brittany especially like always struck me as like really perceptive and like she was the one that kind of like said that like whatever Liz was the sun, she's the center of the universe. Like everyone revolves around Liz, and she was like completely right. But yeah, I'm good with putting Brittany ahead just very slightly because, I mean, Bree had a move that she could have made to make it to the end and potentially win, and she actively decided not to do it.
Yeah.
And then she also like asked to be voted off instead. Versus Brittany, like I think if Brittany had that opportunity presented to her where she knew she made a move, she would win. I just kind of feel like she would have done it. I mean, I don't know. There's no way to know, but like for me, I guess it takes a step back if like you could have made this move and you just like decided not to.
And I don't know, Sam. Like I know you're saying that you think she would have won, but I still feel like that's a tough final three if it's Bree and Crouch and Andrew, Crouch and Cooper.
I know.
Like I feel like
any of them winning, to be honest. Yeah. Plus, like if that happens, Crouch and Cooper are claiming like, oh, like we manipulated Bree into like working with us or whatever. But I don't know. It's hard to say.
All right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we go back to our old favorite, the simulation. I feel like I see Brittany winning more Survivor seasons.
Yeah.
That's fair. Second place.
Second place.
Eulogize our lovely friend Leia.
Yeah, I feel like we just talked about her, but now we're back with a different season. I mean, one of the best overall placements in Survivor Michigan history. The best, right?
Yeah. She's got fourth and second. No one else has come close to that.
She's never received a majority of votes at the tribal council.
That's insane. Yeah.
Because she went out on a 2-2, tie break, and she made it to the final tribal council and did not get the majority of final tribal council votes.
Forgot the majority. Oh no, poor Leia. Yeah, I mean, say what you want about her, like Leia's list and her friends' strategy and whatever, but like Leia knows something about Survivor strategy if she's able to make it to the end, like both times with relatively similar strategy. Like, she's loyal to her people. She's really strategic and like got her to the final four twice. And like she very easily could have won this season. Also. So I think she has the record of most days played at Survivor Michigan. Yeah, I mean, Leia, like, I feel like people got to put more respect on Leia's name as Survivor Michigan player. Like, no one else has the same resume she does.
And Leia, like, stop listening if you're listening to this, because I know you are, because I know you hate when people say this, but, like, she went into that final tribal council probably winning, All-Stars. And she lost at a final tribal council. But, like, she went into this literally in a winning position. Like, that's how, like, with the relationship she had on jury and everything, like, people wanted to vote for her. She ended up losing the votes. Yeah. But, like, it's, I don't think is there another time in Survivor Michigan history, really, where, like, somebody, like, maybe Mitch, like, went in, like, probably winning and then losing? I don't know. Tarowski is probably winning that season anyways, but
I don't think so. I mean, Nick was probably the closest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think Nick is a good one.
That's true. But still, like, I feel like it tells a lot that, like, she came almost as like close as you can get to winning the season, you know?
Yeah. Especially like from what I heard, it was especially before, like at the final four, before Cooper was voted off, like she had like an insane lead in the jury, like over everybody else. And ultimately, like Leia just didn't, I don't think she wanted to win as much as, or there's lines she wasn't willing to cross. Like, her goal ultimately, she wanted like her alliance to win first and foremost, and then like out of that she obviously wanted to win, but like I wanted myself to win more than anything else, and I was willing to say whatever I needed to at Final Tribal, versus Leia was not. She was always going to stay true to exactly what her word was, exactly what she felt. I respect that.
Yeah.
So second place rankings, eh?
What is the current ranking?
First place, Shannon. Second place, Nick. Third place, Devin. Fourth place, Mitch the you-know-what.
Mitch the snitch.
Mitch. I mean, I would put her ahead of Mitch and Devin almost like instantly.
It's fun ranking her against Mitch, you know?
Yeah.
that is fun.
That is fun.
But I agree.
I mean, she also got more votes. Mitch got, I actually don't remember how many votes Mitch got, but I feel like
what? Yeah, wait, what was the final score? What was it in that the Final Child Council votes in season 1? Mitch got a couple, right?
I want to say it was like 5-2, maybe.
Yeah.
I think Leia voted for Mitch, and maybe it was 6. Did anyone else vote for Mitch other than Leia? Maybe Britt.
Wait, they all voted for Tarowski, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did anybody else vote for Mitch? Was it just Leia?
I'll have to ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, if only.
There's a wiki, right?
There's a wiki, yeah. Survivor Mitch again.
We've been doing this for too long. I can't remember things anymore.
No. There's a point where we would have known that off the top of our heads, probably.
I know. There's a point where I could have
it was 6-1.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mitch got as many votes as Bree.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's like the only time that the second place person didn't get multiple votes.
Yeah.
We've never had a unanimous winner.
No, that's crazy.
Gen 1. Yeah, at least I don't know. I don't know the future.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
But back to what we were talking about. Yeah, I think definitely above Devin and Mitch.
Devin just didn't have as much control over the game as a whole. Nick versus Leia. I mean, Nick arguably came closer, I guess. Like, it was a tie vote.
Yeah. But also, I feel like we were kind of talking earlier about like, oh, if this person's at the end, then it's this. You know, if Sarah's at the end, then it's Sarah. If it's Mike, then it's Mike. And then after that, like it's like I feel like Leia is probably like, I guess it's hard, but I feel like she's like up there in terms of like, you know, if it's Sam at the end, then it's him, and then it's probably Leia. Like even then, like, you know, she was winning going into this, blah blah blah. But what I'm trying to say, I'm not saying this very well, is like I feel like Leia was a bigger threat going into the end. Then I feel like Nick kind of had all the threats take each other out, and then he was there standing at the end.
Yes.
I mean, we can go into. I'm rambling a lot.
No, I agree. I feel like when in doubt, I like looking at vote record too. Like if you're voting in the majority consistently, it's kind of a sign that you were in the driver's seat, or at least like you knew what was going on. And like Leia, in the whole post merge, she was always the majority, except for the Emily vote when she still knew what was happening. Versus Nick, like, you know, he was left out of a lot of votes. Like he wasn't really the decision maker until it came like really close to the end.
Yeah. And like he played really well now that we are now looking back at it more than maybe we were on jury. But you know, in terms of jury perception, I feel like everybody in All Stars knew that Leia was doing a lot, you know. Whereas I feel like the jury in season 2 didn't obviously we didn't want to vote for him as much.
Well, yeah, and he just didn't have as much clear control as Leia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Leia versus Shannon is an interesting one.
Even though Shannon's first place. I mean, sorry, I'm getting mixed. I'm getting like hungry or something. I feel like,
almost done.
Sorry, I'm losing it.
Even though Shannon's number one. Mm-hmm. Yes, Leia, because is Leia the number one second placer? Is she ahead of Shannon?
Well, I guess like Shannon could have taken out Dale, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Leia could have taken. I don't know if she could have taken you out because.
Well, she couldn't have, because I was immune for Final 4 and 5.
Yeah, exactly. But Shannon made the choice.
Yeah, she had to choose between me and Bailey, and she chose.
Right.
She could have went with Bailey and Brie to the end.
Yeah.
But also, I think Leia probably thought that she was going to beat me, or like.
That's the thing. Shannon was okay with losing to Dale, wasn't she? Was she or was she not?
I don't know if okay is the right word. I think she knew it would happen.
I think that
she thought that it could happen, but like I don't know if she was like. I don't think she like resigned herself to it, you know.
Okay, yeah.
It felt kind of like Brie.
This one's tough.
She didn't want to, and also like I think she was really afraid that if she brought Matthew to the end that she could lose to Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
She would have rather lost to Dale than to Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
But she did make a choice to like go with a person that she thought would be harder to beat, just on a personal level. Versus Leia, I guess she could have. I don't know. What was she going to do? I mean, she wanted to vote off Brie at the Final 4 and basically was forced to not do it because I refused to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Final 5, she could have got flipped on, but like kind of got lucky that Brie and Crouch and Cooper got confused at the fight. I feel like my gut feeling is like Leia I feel like Leia to me felt like a front runner at more points than Shannon did.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon was always kind of like Dale 1A, Shannon 1B, versus like it felt like me and Leia, we would switch 1A, 1B on and off at different points in the season, where like we both were very equally doing different things. Versus Shannon and Dale were always together, and Dale was always the one that had just slightly more power and more relationships than Shannon did.
I think Shannon did have a really good social game though.
She did.
And I think that's something interesting to compare the two of them, because I feel like Leia had a really good social game in terms of, you know, making people want to be on the list and people who got on the list or whatever, wanting really hard to protect her. But I feel like people who weren't on the list felt really negatively towards the list, like especially like the early jury members and stuff. Like I feel like I don't know, and also just like Leia's performance at Final Tribal Council, I think it's harder for me to see Shannon having a similar performance where she could go in winning and end up losing.
True.
Like, Shannon went into that Tribal Council losing and put up a hell of a fight, I think.
She did have a better Final Tribal for sure. Yeah. Like Leia definitely lost Bailey's vote. But like I don't think Shannon lost any votes at Final Tribal. Like she almost probably could have gained votes.
Yeah, I came really close to voting for her, but like I just feel like I came in too much wanting Dale, but I feel like Dale's Tribal Council I feel like that's like almost like one bad part of Dale's game is his Final Tribal Council in a way, but we can get to Dale later.
That's the thing. I mean, yeah, but it's like did it really impact him? Like I don't think he lost any vote. Like I don't think Nate or Megan was ever going to vote for him anyways. Like. There probably wasn't much he could have said to get their votes.
Yeah.
If anything, he probably could have a better social game with them. But I mean, I don't know. Like Shannon, I just feel like Shannon had the understanding that like she probably needed to vote off Dale eventually, and she'd been saying it for the entire season. And then she like never really pulled the trigger. Versus like Leia never was in the position where like she needed to vote me off. Like, if anything, she was. We were very equal, or like she was even slightly ahead, and then like ended up being that I won. But I felt like we were very 50-50 in that alliance where we both contributed. Versus like I guess Dale and Shannon was close to 50-50, and they both were kind of running the season because Shannon had better relationships with like Megan and like Nate and like Ivy and Kat.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, Shannon did go to the final 3 with her 2 closest allies, Kat and Dale.
Yeah.
Dale wasn't close. Dale was close to Kat, like, through Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like there's more votes that I can just be like, oh, like Leia had more influence on that than like, I don't know how many votes I can be like, oh yeah, like Shannon was like the driver behind that vote, other than maybe like Katie, I guess, going home. But also Dale did blindside one of Shannon's closest allies, Louisa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think, Sarah? It sounds like you're leaning slightly towards Shannon over Leia.
Me?
No, Jack.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm very 50-50 on it.
Wait, did they both get the same amount of votes at the end? Like similar, right? 2/3?
Similar. I think that Leia got 3 and Shannon got 2.
I think there's a higher chance Leia can win, only because Dale was just so freaking dominant on that season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So a thought experiment where let's do season 4 without Dale. Dale just doesn't get cast, and All Stars without Sam.
It's a completely different season.
I know it's completely different. They're both this is a kind of crazy thought experiment, but I feel like Shannon is a really good Survivor player. Like, has really good instincts, and I feel like there's really the only reason she didn't win was because of Dale, and like and Leia is also a very good Survivor player, but I just feel like I see Leia blowing up a final trial council more, or like
that's true.
Leia like not winning people over as much.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I feel like Leia's really good at surviving week to week. Mm-hmm. And like making moves and voting correctly and getting to the end. Like, I feel like Leia is somebody who has a hard time winning. Where I feel like Shannon, I feel like makes you feel good about voting for her, and I felt bad not voting for her at the end. Whereas I don't think people felt bad not voting for Leia at Final Tribal Council.
No, I can see what you're saying. When that Leia's strategy, because she's very like us versus them, every single time like she's going to have a group of people that are like excluded that she just like doesn't want to talk to, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, those people don't want her to win. Like, she like brands like the other side as enemies.
That's actually true, because that's actually not good for social game, which ultimately, like you were saying, determines winner a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas Shannon is very like friendly and like warm in that sense.
Yeah, Shannon doesn't have enemies. Like, she never had enemies, but like Leia always has enemies.
Okay, you convinced me. I think Shannon over Leia.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's. I can see it, Jack. Yeah, so, Shannon over Leia.
I mean, yeah, that's one of the closest ones. Because they really are like quite different. It's not like, oh, they're both really good strategists at it, or like this. They're really different types of players, but I just feel like the Shannon wins more. I don't know.
They're both in that spot where it's like, they very easily could have won the season, and I think like been a really, really good winner too.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, I feel like if I keep thinking about it more, I'm gonna go back to wanting Leia. But let's lock it in.
Let's lock it in. I think I agree with the social game at the end of the day. Like, Leia has enemies; she always will. Like, Shannon doesn't. I think that's better for your game ultimately. Right,
because it's like if they both made it to the end, then it's like, who's gonna win at the end?
You just don't want enemies in the jury.
Yeah.
I really wish that Shannon played again, because I feel like she's somebody who would be really interesting to play again. Because that is one thing you can say positive for Leia. I mean, I know we're kind of supposed to look at the seasons in isolation, but like, Leia did get very close to winning 2 times, and like, it's hard to say if Shannon. It's impossible to say if Shannon would do the same. But like, I can see her being a really good all-star type player, but you never know.
I could see it being like Leia could be the best like overall like player in Survivor's Michigan seasons 1 through 5, as far as like just like taking the whole resume of both of your seasons and everything you've done, versus like Shannon being, it was like in a vacuum, who played the best second place game.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know,
like if if you were to tell me like, okay, like you're gonna plop yourself into like a final 10 vote and you get to choose to have one ally on your side, do you choose Leia or Shannon? I'd probably choose Leia. Like I feel like Leia is like probably the best person in Survivor Michigan.
Like if Leia's loyal to you,
yeah,
like you want her.
Yeah.
Like in terms of just like just week by week, I feel like Leia is better. But like if we're looking at people who can like win the whole thing, you know, it's like somebody who's like a really good regular season player and then they start choking in the playoffs.
Yeah,
you know, or like who gets to the championship game and then and chokes, like they get all the way there.
Yeah, she lose a tiebreaker and then the final tribal.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of a good like and like NBA NFL comparison with that, but I don't know. Like a Joel Embiid, I don't know.
Yeah.
Except for Joel Embiid would have had to like make it to the NBA Finals like Game 7 twice. But all right, first place.
First place.
Ooh, now this is gonna be a real fun one.
We have Dale, then Tarowski, then Dylan, then Mallory.
Should we do a eulogy for Sam?
Yeah, there's no eulogy.
Quick, I feel like I gave my own eulogy for myself, but you guys can say whatever you want to say.
Wait, when did you give a eulogy for yourself? Oh, that one. Yeah.
My like final whatever.
Oh, because we did your winner thing. Yeah. I mean, Sam caused a lot of chaos this season. The chaos happened to go his way, which is good. Because he was able to make it far. I feel like a lot of people said this about you, that like you're hard to. I don't know. Bailey found it hard to like lie to you. You were able to like win AJ back after the whole text debacle. Like you're really good at like, what's it called? Like when there's like a freaking fire drill, you like, what is it called? Yes, damage control. You're really good at damage control, which is what you need if you're gonna play a flashy freaking chaotic game. You need to be good at damage control.
Yeah. Model the game after Tony Vlachos.
Yeah. I don't know if there could have possibly been a better winning game to like epitomize Survivor Michigan All-Stars than the game you played, Sam, in terms of just being crazy, chaotic, in terms of just being like,
almost the first boot.
Yeah, almost the first boot, almost, you know, merge boot, almost all these boots.
Yeah.
And somehow keep surviving. Like, I don't know, and just I feel like just like all the promise of, you know, your time in season 2 of just like, you know, being really good socially and strategically, then just kind of making, you know, one big mistake. Like you made a lot of almost bigger mistakes this time, but then kept fighting through them.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you could have just looking back on it. Obviously, I'm biased being friends with you, being on this podcast, but I don't think you could have picked like a better winner for this season than you, in just terms of like a satisfying story and just. Well, everybody in the comments now is gonna be like, well, actually, I would have picked Megan to win, but you know, like grown-ups are talking. Like it just makes so much sense, and just really, it's so much fun to watch you every week, both now on YouTube and back then, like just getting all the text updates. Me and Sarah having our little just like combos back and forth, like how the fuck is Sam gonna get out of it this time?
For sure.
Yeah.
And then even at the end, we were like, why is he taking Leia to the end? We were like, oh my god.
Yeah. It's funny because like the commenters, if I would have taken Cooper to the end, they'd be like, wow, like Sam's the biggest idiot of all time. Like,
yeah, like why would you take Cooper to the end? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, it all worked out. But if I would have lost to Leia, I still would have been happy with how the season turned out. But yeah, appreciate it. I thought it was a fun season to play. I was just there to have fun, and you know, the winning was the icing on the cake. It wasn't really expected, but I'm happy it happened.
So humble.
First rankings now.
Yeah.
Final.
You're like Jokic, you know. You're just like, I'm here to play the game, you know.
Yeah, I don't care about the awards. They can have MVP, so I don't care. So I'll set out the. I feel like I want to debate whether I'm better or worse winners than other people.
All right. Well, I say above Dylan, above Mallory.
I think so. I think that
people, there could be an argument of Dylan, right? What would be the Dylan argument?
Make the argument against yourself, Sam. I know you wanted to
say against myself for Dylan would be that Dylan, you know, similar thing of like I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of big moves that like Dylan didn't need to make. You know, he played more low key and got him to the end regardless. And then he made moves at the perfect time. You know, like with stealing Brady's immunity and getting rid of Brady and getting himself into a final 6 where every single person wanted to take him to the end. Dylan didn't really have enemies the way that I did. I think those would be some of the arguments.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, he didn't really have a final 2 though.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. If it was a final 3, he would have.
He doesn't win. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like he loses against a good amount of other people. I don't know. We can debate about with Will, but I think he definitely loses to Aaron. I don't know, and he probably loses to Brady. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Sam wins, or at least comes really close to winning. I think almost any conglomeration of like the top whatever. Like I feel like I don't know.
That's true. How do you feel about Tarowski? Oh,
sorry. We can go to Tarowski.
I was just like trying to, because wasn't Tarowski kind of like, I guess he had his alliance with Thal that they kept secret the whole time that really helped him a lot.
I mean, I feel like Tarowski, it's been a while since season 1.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really remember.
But I feel like he kind of almost played like a better version of Nick's game in that, like, I feel like he wasn't really doing a lot from the top. And I feel like a lot of people were kind of just like annoyed, like, or like the season 1, like Leia Mitch type people were just annoyed that he kept on like skating by.
Yeah.
Or like a Cooper in season 5 almost.
Yeah, maybe that's better comparison.
Yeah. Of like I feel like there was almost an effect that people were afraid of Tarowski. Like he got Akshay to go to Rocks like by promising him an idol that didn't exist, and then like people were always kind of afraid, like, oh, like we could vote for Tarowski, but like what if he has an idol? Like, oh, you know, they're always kind of just like looming figure.
Yeah.
And the thing though, like, so as much as we talk about like your big mistakes, Sam, that you made, like I feel like a lot of those are pre-merge. Like I feel like your game, like after the merge vote, like when you very close, like very narrowly went home, like I feel like after that, like you played a pretty like flawless game in terms of, you know, obviously I think you voted correct the whole season, but like, you know, voting correctly the whole time and not really being in a ton of danger despite having a pretty high threat level. Like, was your name even written down again after the merge vote?
The final 6, it was really between me and Bailey.
Yeah, so that's true.
Bailey and Crouch wrote me down, but you know, we kind of knew that I'd be safe because of the way that the idol, because we knew like where the idol was. I knew that the idol was going to get played.
You weren't really in danger.
So like, yeah, I think that for me it was mostly like I tried to have relationships that I knew would be like a safety valve in case like I made a mistake or my name was tossed out. Just enough relationships that would save me. So like, you know,
I mean, and I feel like Tarowski only really had like the Thal really good relationship. Like I feel like, I mean, Liz was like closer with Thal.
Yeah, I think Sam's social game is better than Thal's. But Thal was, or not Thal, sorry, Tarowski.
Yeah.
Because Tarowski is more of like scare tactics almost. Whereas Sam's more like actually like win you over. Yeah. Which ultimately at the end is like a better strategy. Like for the end game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably put Sam above Tarowski. And you do kind of have to factor in that it is an all-stars win.
Yeah. Like the degree of difficulty is higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, season 1 had a lot of good players, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like you had Liz and you know, you had a pretty packed like
yeah, but then you do also have some of the ones that went out earlier who like didn't play as much.
I feel like the pre-merge of season 1 is one of the more like anonymous, you know, in terms of people who like weren't playing that hard type of people. Even though it was an entertaining pre-merge, but Especially the last guy right before the merge.
Yeah.
Just had to get a little more Matthew Hayden.
I forgot what his name was.
With Trotsky's game, I really liked how he like used his idols to make some really big moves. Like I feel like a really flashy move when he had kind of like a double idol play in the pre-merge to save 2 people, and then like getting Akshay to force rocks on his behalf. But after that, he kind of did lose a lot of his power. When Kara got rocked out, it was really just like doing whatever he could escape by every week, which is impressive that he was able to pull it off. But he also didn't necessarily have a ton of, like influence in what happened each week.
Wait, Sam, you never found an idol, did you?
No.
I found a fake one.
The idols, but I never found the stuff. So tough. Never joined the idol club.
Yeah. You didn't get that bucket list.
Yeah.
Couple big immunities. No idols though.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, one thing I feel like that is pretty damn impressive is winning Final 5 and Final 4 immunity. Like, I feel like that's something we don't talk about a ton in terms of ranking people. Like, but I mean,
but like challenges is a big part of it. That's like kind of like that's like a big category they talk about these days.
Yeah.
In Final Tribal Console,
I would
challenge
say
performance.
I mean, some of them it's like you win like a random. I feel like for me, like challenge performance matters also. Like, and how important was that challenge for you to win specifically? So it's like you win like a random like final 10 challenge where you're the majority. It's like okay, like whatever. You're able to. 4
are like the most important ones usually.
But I feel like the Final 4 one especially was big. Final 5 was nice to have because it was cool to win the finale once, but Final 4 especially, it was a big one because otherwise Cooper would have been in the end.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, Tarowski stepping down in first season immunity is kind of like low key, like not a very good move.
It's kind of crazy that worked out for him.
Yeah,
like,
it worked out for him.
Yeah.
You could have very easily just voted him off. Like,
you
probably should have.
Yeah. Like, I almost kind of want to discount him for that, even though it ended up working. Like, I feel like, I don't know, he was still close to going home. The tiebreak.
Yeah. He might, for whatever reason, he like really, really was confident that Mitch was going to hold up his end of the deal. But why would Mitch also shouldn't have held up his end of the deal. So I'm confused on both ends, like why that deal happened, why both of them like stuck to it.
And like going back to the it's Liz vote, like he like, I mean, I guess Thal probably never was going to vote him out. But like, if you look at it logically, like he should have, right?
Yes. Well, no, it's Liz is he should have. I think it was that he was either.
Wasn't it between him and Tarowski?
No, it was that he was either going to let Tarowski go to Rocks and if
that's right, that's right,
Brittany, or just like vote off Liz, and he chose to vote off Liz instead of letting it go to Rocks. Which, if you let it go to Rocks and then Brittany draws a rock, now all Tarowski and Liz have a majority in the Final 5. So it's like. He wasn't willing to let Tarowski go to a 50-50 chance, but he probably should have.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe that speaks to Tarowski's social game and that like Tarowski made it so that Ball would never do that. That easily could have been bad for both of them though. So like I don't know. Like let's say that because very easily, could have just been Ball goes out at Final 5, Tarowski goes out at Final 4, but maybe Tarowski did win Final 5. I don't remember. Anyways, my season 1,
people who are like the real season 1 heads gonna be watching this, like yelling at us right now. Like, you guys are not getting this right at all.
Yeah.
So sorry, season 1 heads.
Yeah, I think. In conclusion, Sam above Tarowski.
I think
because. I mean, y'all both did have some like skin by chance type situations. But I think your damage control is better than Tarowski's. I think Tarowski got a little more lucky at times. I don't know. I just think you slightly above Tarowski.
I think it's impressive for you to go to the end with people you wanted to go to the end with. Like, whereas Tarowski lost a lot of his allies. I don't know.
That's the thing. You more so guaranteed your spot in the final 3, whereas Tarowski like kind of like got lucky that people made certain decisions that allowed him to get there.
One thing I will say for Tarowski is that he probably does have the better legs. I'm saying like I think you have nice legs, they're fine, but
sure.
like yeah.
You didn't film any confessionals like with your legs in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true. If I had lost Final Four, I would have probably I would have still been in the Final Three.
Although his legs did carry him through that Final Four challenge.
True. Carried him through.
You had one leg.
I won 2 challenges. Two of my 3 challenges were won by standing alone.
You did crew, which is great for the legs. So maybe I'm underrating your legs. I'm sorry, Sam.
It's like the freaking like website with everyone's foot. Like we had one for legs.
Yeah. All the celebrity legs.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, my thing would be like, I never voted incorrectly. I was never like on the outs in All Stars, and then I also went to the Final 3 that I wanted from like the merge.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't going to debate yourself. So.
He's like advocating for himself.
Yeah. Okay, and that's all I'll say.
He's like, I don't want to pressure you guys to like put me in first, but like basically I never voted wrong. And
I don't know. I mean, I have my. I'm just saying that for overall. I'll say that I'll say now I don't think I'm ahead of Dale. I don't think that anyone can even sniff being ahead of Dale, but you guys can give your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
Did Dale get lucky with his original tribe?
I guess we can do a degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
That season 4 competition kind of sucked. No, I mean there's great players.
I think that you and Eliza.
Well, guys, even just looking at the rankings that we have, like the season 4 color is the pink one, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like lower than a lot of the other seasons.
Like it's almost kind of like comparing Redemption Island, Boston Rob's victory to like Tony's victory in Winners at War. I think it's actually a good comparison because I feel like exactly. Boston Rob's victory in Redemption Island is without a doubt like extremely impressive, and a lot of people rank it as one of the best winning games ever. But also is with kind of a bunch of losers.
But you just said also that Shannon's the best second placer by far.
Yeah.
Like Boston Rob went to the Final 3 with like Natalie Tenorelli and Philip Shepard. Like
Philip Shepard, absolute icon.
Yeah.
Like Jackson is like, I feel like let's say you remove Dale from season 4, I feel like suddenly like so many other players have such a bigger chance to win just because for one, Dale is so much more dominant than everybody else. But then like on their own, like you, like Eliza, Jackson, like Shannon, like they're all like really good players. And like
wait, hold up. But didn't Dale's tribe win like every immunity challenge in the beginning?
Yeah.
I mean,
because it was like freaking like computer science nerds versus like
they did win like challenges.
Hey, you watch it there.
I'm just kidding.
Who you call a nerd?
But like they got to the merge with a majority. Just like we did in season 2, and like the majority
they were stacked.
Because Dale
nerds and drama geeks. It's also funny.
I feel like Dale did a good job of keeping his alliance together and like always having like his informants in his alliance to make sure that no one would like turn on him or turn on each other. Versus like there could have easily been a scenario where like Jackson and Shannon have infighting and they break up, or they, Shannon flips at the merge after Eliza goes home or whatever. Like Dale managed to keep everyone together somehow, and that doesn't happen very often. Like usually, majority alliance usually always splits up at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't really think that you're above Dale. there's at least an argument to be made.
Well, how does Dale do in this All-Stars, we think? I don't think he...
I mean, I think it's hard for any winner to...
Well, especially if you're like the GOAT winner, you're going to have a hard time in All-Star season,
Yeah, like Dylan didn't make it too far either.
Yeah.
But Dylan also, like, I mean, it wasn't because he was a winner, though. Like, it was really just random... It should have been Aaron at that tribal council. He got kind of...
Yeah. Dale, I feel like, is the type of player, I don't know. Like, he's also so good at getting people on his side, but I feel like a lot of his strength in season 4 was kind of playing up the, like, frat bro, kind of like, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, like people not really realizing that he was the one leading for a lot of it, like when you were in the game. And I feel like as soon as you get to a second season like that, Mirage is going to be up. Like people are going to be onto him the whole time.
Yeah,
like
he'd have to change it up for sure.
Like, which I'm not discounting. He would have the ability to do, but I feel like even in a universe, say there's a universe where Shannon takes out Dale at Final Four, and then Dale is really mad and comes back for All Stars. Like I feel like people are still, even if he's not a winner, I feel like people are going to be onto Dale from the start.
They would. I don't know. They would, but you say that, but like that's what people thought. That's what people said about like Cooper and like Leia.
Yeah. Before the season, there's no way Cooper fucking makes it. Yeah.
The thing about Dale is that he's just like people dislike it. Like you would think that like from watching this or from like at first appearance, like okay, Dale, like whatever, he's just like kind of like Freddy, like physical guy. Like maybe he's probably not going to be super. You would maybe think he wouldn't be good socially, but like that was his biggest strength was like he had like an insanely good social game. Mm-hmm. Like he played probably an even more social game than I think people really realize. Yeah. Like he hit his threat level. He made it so no one wanted to vote him off. Like everyone was telling him information on his tribe. Like I think that Dale, like I don't think that anyone in any College Survivor winner like comes close to as good as impressive as Dale's win. Like, and it'll be very difficult for anyone to ever surpass how dominant it was. Like, I'll say this for the end of the time. Like, being a producer and someone that edited that season, like you might think watching the edit that Dale played a dominant game, but the edit like undersells how dominant Dale was by a lot because it was way too obvious that he would win. Like, if by like the edit of just what happened. So like literally every episode, we had to like the storyboarding was literally like trying to like come up with like creative ways to add more drama and make it seem like the outcome was in question because Dale had everything locked in like one day in the week and then the rest of the week nothing happened or they were all trying to make plans to keep like Matthew Israel distracted or something.
Give him something to do.
Like grip on the game. Like as a producer, it was like insanely stagnant. Like it felt like nothing was happening because it was just like the whole game was on lock. Like from the final 10, it was like obvious that Dale was going to win and no one else even had a chance. Like he had two idols. Like, I don't know. That undersells Dale by a lot to make it seem more unpredictable, which is crazy to hear because it seems like he was dominant in the edit, but he was like 10 times more dominant in real life.
Got it. Okay, yeah. You're second then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still like an amazing position to be in. That's the second best first placer in Survivor Michigan history. I'd take it.
Yeah, you're the best. You're the best winner to not be married, to not have a freaking wife
and a child.
Yeah, a child to not be 50 years old.
Yeah, it's true. Man, that's the rankings. We got them all.
Wow, we just went through 7 sets of rankings, and it took 2 hours.
Woo!
So long.
And there goes my gym time, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Brutal.
It's all good.
Yeah, you just
it's a mental workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I'm watching Spider-Man tonight. Have you guys seen it yet?
No, I think I'm going to this weekend.
Yeah, it's gotten really good reviews. But I haven't watched the first one since it came out, which was like 2019.
Oh, they're gonna say you haven't watched it at all.
Me neither.
Like I don't really remember much about it.
It seems like it wasn't that long ago. I can't believe it was like 2018.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 2021.
2018 was a freaking long time ago, though, guys.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Dale didn't even have a kid yet.
Yeah. Well. Keep your torch lit.
It's been great.
Guys, we should make Keep Your Torch Lit merch. Like, I want a shirt that says Keep Your Torch Lit.
Yeah, we have not monetized this at all.
Why have
Patreon for all these years?
We have not made a single cent from this podcast.
True.
Whenever I tell people I do this podcast, they're like, do you make like money off of it? I'm like, no, I just do it like for fun.
No ads, no merch, just the love of the game.
I remember once we tried to do like Spotify ads or something.
You need like so many views to like even make $1 off of that.
Like, we can make like 15 cents. Like, okay, never mind.
15 cents, woo!
Yeah, it would be funny if there's a break. Like now, we'll take a pause and talk about FanDuel. Maybe next season to KYTL. When our 3,000 views suddenly projects us into the next stratosphere, we get like 1 million views per episode.
Somebody starts making like TikToks of us, of just like the Keep Your Torch Lit podcast, and like all the archival episodes get a ton of views all of a sudden.
Well, and Jack, the next time if we handed over some new new faces, they're going to get so many views because Jack isn't in them, and they're like, wait, who's Jack? Everyone's going to be searching them to find Jack, and let's get tons of views. So that's what we need ads, basically.
Yeah. I do want to say this is, we talked a little bit at the beginning, but this will not be the final time that I think us three record a podcast together talking about Survivor Michigan. No. I think we might not record them as frequently, and we might pass the torch, metaphorically speaking, to some of the next gen people for maybe the weekly interviews and everything. There's a lot up in the air. I don't want to speak out of turn, but like, so it's not a goodbye.
It's a see you later. No,
yes. Yeah, exactly. It's a goodbye to Era 1, but not a goodbye forever.
Yeah, and like the last one when we really have the big insider info. Like were you on Prod in season 6? No, you were out of here, right?
Yeah.
We still have some season 6 info just because we know like we're pretty good friends with like Ian, Katie, freaking all those people.
George.
But after season 6, that's where I start to lose touch. I'm like,
yeah.
Season 6 is very much a transitional, I feel like, era.
I've helped with, so I know the people that are doing season 7 at least, and like I've helped them get them set up in some ways, and I've seen the cuts for season 7 because they're like working through season 7. It's like different teams for season 6 and season 7, and it's really good. It's I'm excited for both of them to come out, and I think that 7 is going to come out probably not too long after 6. So like,
dang, that's impressive.
That's all I know. I'm gonna quickly be in a place where I don't know much at all about what happens and just be another fan watching it. But I'm excited, and they're gonna be good.
Well, it's been an absolute honor talking through all of Era 1 with you two. And I'm so glad that we did this. I'm so glad that we were like so hyped up about Sour Michigan back when season 1 started airing. And be like, you know what, let's just fucking make a podcast about it.
I know.
Yeah.
And like, I never would have thought then that we'd still be doing it all these years later. And
now all 5 seasons would come out.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
That's true. I feel like
possibility.
Yeah. We're like, hopefully that somebody else like starts editing these after George. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it was still up in the air at that point.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy.
Damn,
I'm glad we've done it. And shout out Sarah for having the idea. You're like, we should do a podcast.
I know, I don't know where it came
podcasting
from.
wasn't even that popular back then.
Yeah, it really was.
It's really a big thing that people did. Like, I don't even think it was like on Spotify at that point.
Yeah.
Like through Anchor or something.
It's true. TB2 to the Anchor days, that fucking app.
Yeah.
That app was so annoying.
Yeah, I feel like we do not have, that's one thing. I feel like we have not had a ton of technical issues. Like, I feel like that would take up like half the time.
Oh my God, I totally forgot how glitchy it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was bad.
People, like, if you like unplugged your headphones and then plugged it back in, like, it just wouldn't work. Remember that? You have to
Why did we fucking use Anchor?
Yeah.
It was all that there.
And guys, we couldn't see each other.
Yeah.
So it would be so hard to tell like when to talk.
I just remember,
all the time.
Especially when it was like me and Sam, like who were still on campus, and Sarah had graduated. I feel like we would just go off, and then Sarah would just be kind of like sitting there on the phone and be like, oh, "Sorry, Sarah."
We had to like call. I feel like we would like call somebody else on the phone and to get them in, or sometimes it'd be in person. Like if it was like Leia or something, like doing those initial interviews.
Yeah,
come a long way for sure. Like StreamYard definitely made this a lot easier.
Yeah. Thank you to our sponsor, StreamYard, our first sponsor.
Bro.
Oh, too funny.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe future seasons, like season 10, come back for like one episode. We'll all be like old, we'll have kids like Dale, and we'll be like in 3D holograms or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All Stars 3 will be fun because we're all going to be on that again. So like we can actually like podcast about it.
Yeah,
while we're doing it.
We can see you can see a visual of like Tom hiding in the bushes in All Stars 3.
Yeah.
It'll be like projected in front of
you. You can like search through the bush yourself to see Tom in there, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Any other jokes that we need to do one more time for Era 1? I wish we could go back in Mallory's time machine and talk to us from the first episode and tell us how far we're going to come.
What do you think were the most used jokes?
We did the 10,000. I'm like 100 steps ahead.
Oh,
yeah.
The view a lot. That's a good one.
Yeah, I feel like the Lavana one is...
Lavana and like the time machine, I think were big ones. And freaking like, I feel like Turovsky and like the legs.
Oh, yeah.
And Mitch. Season 1, we did a lot of Mitch stuff.
Yeah. Very talented. Very talented, I think is what he said. And it's very true, even up into that was before All Stars even happened. And, you know, she has proven herself to be very talented.
Very talented.
Very talented.
Don't even worry about how talented she is.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one. And like spoilers.
Whoa.
True. Whoa.
Everybody,
we stopped doing that because like we just got so used to not saying spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that we definitely trained that muscle. I feel like we were accidentally dropping spoilers a lot more often early on.
Yeah.
Having to edit out. I feel like
we don't even worry. We don't even worry about.
We don't even worry about it anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a lot of them.
Yeah. Everybody put in your comments if you're still listening 2 hours in. Your favorite keep your torch lit memory or moment or inside joke or anything is. What your favorite interview was.
I feel like the only one I remember from All Stars is just Tom hiding in the bushes. Is really the one.
And Bailey's multiverse.
Oh yeah, Bailey's multiverse was the biggest one. And her like seeing everyone in passing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
I hope all of the listeners. I hope I see you all in passing someday. All 100 of you.
All 100. All 3,000. 100 of you.
Well, I'm talking to the ones that listen to the ones with me.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot smaller viewership. Yeah,
it's for real KYTL. Yeah. If you can't find Jack, if you want to see him in passing, just go to the market. You see him.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we don't want to leave. All right. No. We will be back. Don't worry. But it is the end of an era, so there's that.
But that just means new era is going to start.
Yeah.
We're entering our season or era 2.
Entering our Gen 2 era.
Yeah.
Yeah. Entering our next one. Well, talk to you guys later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Keep your torches lit, everyone.
Yeah.